I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. See the strokes keep me up, so I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. You see money right here, right here, right here. We ain't got no worries. Right here, right here.
How you doing? How you doing? Great. Hey, ain't got no worries. Ain't got no worries. I ain't even worried about the microphone. That's how serious it is. Yeah, you know, when that music didn't come on, I said, hey, I don't have any words. That's right. And I honestly didn't know. I was like, what's the first song? What is that? I said, I'm gonna come on cool anyway, because that's just how I roll. But, you know, I needed no words. I appreciate it. No worries. But let me actually, again, explain to you why I have no worries. Again, my name is Chaplain Ross, so Curtis Ross, or Curtis. And, you know, what I really want to focus on and talk with you today is about the law of input to output. But more so, the reason why I say I have no worries is because I understand that law. I understand that what you put in is pretty much what you're going to get out of any situation in your life, okay? So, I have a question to ask you, okay? By show of hands, who in here has ever robbed a bank? I would hope even if you did, you wouldn't tell us today. But nevertheless, if you think about it, in society today, again, with the undertone of what I say to you being the law of input and output, in society, to go to a bank and expect to withdraw money that you didn't put in would be considered an illegal act. Is that correct? And pretty much you get in trouble or end up in jail. And this is what I used to think about in college. You really work, and this is my college days. And well, if you didn't get caught, did you really do it? But nevertheless, for the person that would get caught, obviously it's an illegal act. And so when you think about it from a universal perspective, because as a chaplain, oftentimes what I do is I work in universal relationships. I think about everything as it pertains to not only the individual, but also how we are impacted by what goes on in our world. Now when I say our world, I mean your world, your world, your world, your world. But we all culminate and we make what's called a society. But I will dare say to venture into, you have your universe of influence. You have your universe of influence. You have your universe of influence. And of course, I can go around the room. Everybody out here today, we have our universe of influence. And it all goes back to understanding that the law of input to output will drive that. And if you think about the law of input-output, it's always working. It's always working. And I like to actually compare that to gravity. Gravity never stops working. It's always going. So even when you're awake or when you sleep, you're always inputting something into your life, into your universe. And what I'm getting at is 3 components that help you get to a position of a more strategic input to output relationship as it pertains to your universe. Now, the first component is actually your thought. So in relationship, obviously, to what my friend Larry has talked about, creating your reality, the first component is your thought. It is the catalyst. It is the beginning. If you were going to run a race, that thought life is going to be the training aspect. It's going to be, okay, I'm getting to the starting line, but what am I equipped with? I'm equipped with my thought life. The second phase to managing input and output is your speech life, what you say. And then lastly, the third phase are the actions that you take. I like to call it the TSA effect. Your thought life, your speech life, and your active life, what you're doing actively. So I work in visuals, folks, so let me actually try to give you a more visual understanding of what I'm talking about so that you can really understand living life on an input-output basis. Now, when we wake up in the morning, we have life waiting on us to make certain decisions. Would you agree? And if you don't really agree, what I'm saying is this. At the end of a poem called Invictus, it says, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So when you think about life in that manner, then you say, whatever is out there, I created, and I'm the judge and the jury. But I know it starts with me. It has to start with me. So when I wake up, because the thought life is the beginning of it all, then I first have to consider, okay, I get out of the bed, okay, so the alarm went off and it went off 10 minutes late and I'm 10 minutes behind schedule. But my thought life is going to drive this moment. And so I'm going to make time get back with me as opposed to adjust the time. That's how powerful your thought life can be. Being that you were created in an image greater than you, however you name him, however you define him, that greater power has made us able to define ourselves through our thought life. So in this, when we're up and we're seeing life out there outside of the four walls of our home, your thought life represents three things: your mentality, your belief system, or your spirituality, and also your experiences. I'll say that again: your experiences, your mentality, and your spirituality go in to cultivate what I would call your belief systems. So if you consider this, the way you think is actually a subconscious value of really who you are. And the only way someone can impact or change the way you think is to really get deeper into you and get into the subconscious value of who you are, because you can say, oh, that sounds great. I think that sounds great, but it doesn't necessarily change your position. So again, I want to make sure it's clear on how powerful thoughts are. So that when you walk away thinking about input and output, you say, well, as it pertains to my thoughts, what am I putting in to my relationships with money, with my spouse, with my craft, with my business partners, whatever it may be? How do I handle these relationships through my thoughts? So when I'm about to take my first step, my thoughts are there at the starting line, preparing me. My muscles are ready, I'm ready to go. So, on this path, in my circular universe, I stand as a nucleus. If you can imagine a circle, I want you to now put a dot right in the center of that circle. That's you. But imagine lines going from each point of view to the edges of that circle. But again, that circle can't exist without you. You go away, the circle has to diminish. It has to go away. Okay? I can take this without the mic. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. I can take it without the mic, I'm fine. So, because I need my hands anyway. So, you come out of the circle can't exist because you're the pivotal point, you're the nucleus. All right? So, in essence to your thought life and on this journey of life, at the end of this stage is my destiny. My destiny, which I can see clearly because I saw it in my thought life. It already exists here. Like a track star knows that the finish line is on the other side of the track, or he has to make that round, I know that I got to get back here. So, in my thought life, now when I begin to speak, what my speaking will do for me from a universal perspective is my speaking is now going to go and bring everything that I need right there along the track line. And so, as I take my thoughts and I begin to think and create my world, now my speaking has gone before me and it has positioned what I need to fulfill and to help me. That could be what the water for the track star. That could be the encouragement. That could be money here for your venture. But again, it's on the path, and this is what I'm getting to. On that path, the only way I can get to my destiny is I have to move. I have to move. Yes, I understand the law of attraction, but I attract things as I move. I don't attract things as I stand still. And that is your action. You have to take action. We have to take action if we are going to get to our destiny. So imagine this. I have my thoughts. My thoughts have gone before me. There is a world that exists simply from my thoughts. Now I take the words that I say, and I don't say anything that contradicts my world, because I am the ruler of that place. And now with my actions, I begin to move forward in a faith mode because I have no clear manifestation, but I know that on my journey, if I keep saying what I want to see, I'll have what I say, then on the way, I'll meet certain people and certain relationships will grow. Certain things will happen along the way, and I'll get what I need. When I'm low, somebody will be there to pick me up, but I got to keep going. And I got to keep saying what it is that I started saying before, and I can't change that because I got to believe within me that it was already done when I started. See, the race has got to already be finished before we start. That's it. And so I keep going, continuing to move in action, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what it may seem, and my destiny was already awaiting. It just was waiting for me to start. So, I submit to you today, ladies and gentlemen, that in the input and output phase, whatever you do put in, you can expect, you have a right to expect to get it back. Now, as far as the season and time, I would dare say that by perspective, that is between you and your God. But now, from the perspective of what you control, remember, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So I'll say this in closing. Think before you speak, and let your actions be the vehicle that drives you to your destiny. Thank you very much. My name is Chaplain Ross.